Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I am Jeff, and it doesn't make sense to leave home to look for home. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my co-host.
I'm Leslie, and your car is uglier than I am! That didn't come out right.
Spoilers, that was my favorite relationship of the whole movie, is those two.
Mine, too. I loved them so much.
They're so much fun to watch. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are not doing talk radio. I know we told you that we were going to, but real talk, that's for either one of us watched it. And I did that. I watched it on Monday, and that movie's dark, you guys. And it was a little more than I wanted to deal with. It just felt hard to talk about, and I didn't want to. There was, and I'm not saying it was a bad movie, because I think it had a lot to say, and it said it all in a very Oliver Stone way, but I didn't want to, and I was pretty sure you would not have enjoyed the experience of watching or talking about this movie. So,
and I trusted you, and I'm so glad I did.
Because we switched it up. We went with something else that had the radio as a large component to it. So this week, Cheesemeisters, we are talking about American Graffiti, the 1973 Man Wasn't Life Simpler Before Kennedy Was Assassinated and Half of Us Died masterpiece.
Yikes.
Written and directed by George Lucas, his second film, starring Richard Dreyfuss, Little Opie Cunningham, Ron Howard, Paul LeMat, Charles Martin Smith, Cindy Williams, Shirley herself, Dandy Clark, Mackenzie Phillips, Wolfman Jack, and Suzanne Summers. We are watching this in conjunction with Season 4, Episode 16, Crunch Time. And we have 3 spelling connections, but probably more. I just stopped looking. One, Mackenzie Phillips. We're going to see her next year in what can only be described, Cheesemeisters, as a very special episode. And if you know who Mackenzie Phillips is, you remember what episode she was in and what is happening and what role she plays in what's happening, and it's a whole fucking thing. And I would say come back in about 30 weeks and we'll have it for you. It's about that far in advance. Yeah, it's first third of next season. So
cool.
Yep, so we got that. But also Wolfman Jack, baby, was in an episode of Vegas. And Suzanne Summers did both Starsky and Hutch and The Love Boat. So, positioned in the 70s as this was, prime spelling.
Prime spot.
Yep. This movie is loved by critics and the public alike. 95% of the critics and 84% popometer on Rotten Tomatoes. So, people like this movie.
I can see that. I liked it.
You liked it? So this was the first time you'd seen it?
First all the way through, yes.
But you'd like bits and pieces here and there?
Yes, and once again, I completely misremembered some stuff, so I'm like,
great. What did you think? Okay, this is a Come Waterfalls type moment. What did you think was happening in this movie when you sat down to watch it?
Nothing. Thankfully, I didn't have any preconceived notions about what the movie was about. I misremembered Harrison Ford. I thought he died in the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, completely.
Just his car. Yeah. Okay.
It's okay. He's gonna get a ship soon.
Yes, and a bullwhip.
Hell yeah.
Things are only looking up for young Harrison Ford in 1973, Cheesemeisters.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah. To be honest, that can be said for most of this cast. And there's more to talk about there. But So if you don't know what American Graffiti is, um, I guess it wouldn't surprise me because it's over 50 years old, and that's certainly possible. But this movie carries a lot of weight culturally, and it has since it came out. It is set in 1962, and it's a coming of age story. I said it earlier, but released in '73, so it's barely a decade after the events of the
Oh,
movie. Like it's pretty
okay.
close in time. Um,
I so read it as the 50s. Why is that?
I think it's kind of supposed to read like the '50s.
Okay.
Um, and I have fly in here again. I have thoughts about that too. And fuck this fly, god damn it.
He
Um,
wants to be famous.
and Laura's like, "Why is he fly in my face?" I was like, "Because he wants to be seen." It's like dancing in front of the cameras when you're at like when American Bandstand comes to Rydell.
Yeah, it's just hi,
Mm-hmm.
hi.
Yeah, when you moon the camera and whatnot.
Man,
Um,
we'll get to that in intimacy too.
oh fuck, that was a good mooning, I thought. Um,
Right up there.
yeah. So, so I lost my train of thought with where we went because of the fucking fly, an American Bandstand. But it's a coming of age story, and it's about kids in cars driving around town. Um, Opie Cunningham and Mr. Holland, before he teaches music, were they're going to leave town. They're graduated from high school, and they're going to go away to college on the East Coast the next morning. And so this is the last night on the town, um, kind of deal. And everybody else they're leaving behind, but Richard Dreyfuss at the beginning is like, maybe I'm not going to go. I'm kind of feeling like I might not go. And Opie Cunningham is dating Shirley, who is Richard Dreyfuss's sister, and she's still in high school. And he, gives her the "let's see other people next year, but we're still in love" pitch, which is a weird move.
Dude.
Then he tries to ball her later in the episode, which is like that intimacy we're going to talk about because it looks like she's not there. It looks like he's laying flat on the seat, like it's in his imagination until he gets up and she's actually down there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And Richard Dreyfuss is just sort of tooling around town trying to decide what he's going to do with his life and gets involved with some ruffians, the Pharaohs, because he might have scuffed somebody's car. It's a whole thing. And Opie Cunningham gave his keys to his friend who was driving around trying to get some ace. And Richard Dreyfuss also was searching for Suzanne Summers, who he saw at the beginning of the movie. This fly, sorry,
It's okay.
it's really driving me crazy. I hit it again, made contact. It's still taunting me. But he sees Suzanne Summers and she mouths "I love you," or at least that's what it looks like. And he's chasing her all around town trying to find her, but it's whatever. Um, and then the guy who's played by Paul Le, what's his name? The guy who's like the fastest car in town.
Oh, David Milner.
David
I
Milner.
think
Yeah.
David or John?
John Miller or Milner, something like
Milner.
that. Anyway, Milner. Okay.
That's our
He's
boy.
fooling around town. What?
I'm just saying that's our boy because he's our.
Oh, it is
he's one of our favorites.
He is. Yeah. I mean, look, I love that pairing. But it's going to be hard for me to rate anybody over Ron Howard or Richard Dreyfuss in any movie. Like they're kind of amazing, and they are who they are. But granted, anyway, John Milner is like cock of the walk, and has been for a long time. He's Wooderson, right? He's been
Yes.
out of high school for a minute. He's been the fastest car in town for, like, you can see he thinks it's been too long. Like he's kind of tired of being this guy. And a new swinging dick comes to town named Harrison Ford, and he has a car, and he's looking for John. He wants to race him. And John, while all this is going on, gets tricked into having Julie's sister get in his car with him. And Julie's sister is 12. and
Yep,
she's fucking awesome.
she is.
And the two of them ride around town, and she gives him no end of shit. And it just is, I don't know, it's just kind of great. And then the movie's over. Like, then it's the next day, and Opie and Mr. Holland did a flip flop, and Opie's going to stay in town, and Richard Dreyfuss is going to go back east to hunt Jaws.
Yes.
Basically, what happened.
Exactly.
So you liked this?
I did.
Okay, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what was good.
Uh, well, one, I knew that this. I don't know if it inspired is the right word, but I knew from the Dazed and Confused book
Uh
that one of the pitches for Dazed and Confused that Linklater made was like, I want to make this generation's American Graffiti.
huh.
And so I thought, okay, it's probably going to be something I like.
Yeah.
You know, I like a movie or a play. I like a story that takes me, that has me following characters
Mm-hmm.
overnight.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about nighttime,
I get that though.
but I find it to be fascinating. I like to see how the relationships evolve.
Uh huh.
I really enjoyed watching how they evolved in this.
Yeah.
And I like the role that music plays in it.
Uh huh.
There's a sense of, it's not, the sense of nostalgia in this is not as strong for me as in Dazed and Confused, because I don't think they were playing to that as much. But like that that feeling of just running around with your friends way into the wee hours of the morning, that feeling of these are our last nights together before college,
Mm-hmm.
I remember. And
Yeah.
I envied these kids because they got to be out all night long. And I'm like, where are your
Sure.
parents?
Right.
Um,
50s, 60s. Yeah.
but I really liked it. There's some shots and some creative choices that I question, but
Okay.
I like the story.
Okay. So I think the comparison to Dazed and Confused is interesting, and obviously there because Dazed and Confused was like built on the bones of this kind of movie.
Yeah.
Um, I agree. It doesn't land with me the same way Dazed and Confused does. It doesn't give me that false nostalgia that we talked about. The term I can't even remember what it was. This does not make me nostalgic necessarily for a time I didn't experience.
Yeah.
The way that Dazed and Confused does. But I do think that this movie is 100% about nostalgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm glad that you watched this movie and liked the relationships and the character arcs and the things that happened. Um, because I think all that's valid, but I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Because the only thing I can get out of this movie, and I've seen it twice now, it's that this movie is. I'm trying to think of which. Okay, let's start here. This movie is overly important in the culture. Maybe not now, 50 years ago, 50 years since it's been made, but this movie, in a lot of ways, defines our memory of the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s.
Okay.
And here's why. One, it's made in 1973, and everyone in it becomes TV and movies for the rest of the decade. Like,
Yes.
this is Happy Days and Star Wars and Laverne and Shirley and Three's Company and Jaws and Close Encounters. I mean, this is the decade ahead of them.
Yeah.
And when we think of the 70s, these are the people who built the aesthetic of the 70s in the pop cultural mind, right? This is like that image. What they project of the 60s is, at least the early 60s, is so hyper accurate that it has made us think that is not only, because it also projects the 50s, which
Yes.
it kind of does because of the 70s, because of Richie Cunningham and Happy Days showing us that this is what the 50s were like. And that version of the 50s looking very much like what American Graffiti showed us that the early 60s and late 50s were like for teenagers, white straight teenagers,
Yep.
white upper middle class suburban teenagers. And this is kind of what I'm getting at. Our collective image of that time frame is so heavily formed by the car culture and the music as it's presented in American Graffiti that if you think of the 1950s and you weren't a part of it, which I wasn't, you weren't, the images you get are images heavily informed by this.
Yeah.
And by Grease, which looks the same way. Again, the 70s giving us the 50s. It is all of those things, and it makes it too important. Like, it makes it this weird linchpin of popular culture. And I couldn't help but watch it with that in mind. And I thought, am I reading too much into what I'm seeing here? Like, because the major thing I see besides that piece of it, which is kind of a meta piece, textually, what this movie is people in 1973 at the height of the Watergate scandal, Nixon administration, all this stuff, all of the paranoia of the early 1970s, still neck deep in the Vietnam War, post Summer of Love, post Woodstock and Altamont, post the assassinations of Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, post the assassination of JFK. Looking back at what life was like before Innocence Lost. This movie is very intentionally set before the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
So it is a wasn't everything better in this simpler time?
And I hate to say it, but it's movies like this that are part
Go
of
ahead.
are part of why anyone ever thought America was great.
Yes. That's exactly fucking it. I wrote down here, this is the core of MAGA.
Yes. And what a fucking shame.
Yes, right. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about that specifically because it makes me feel gross, like talking about talk radio is going to make me feel. But this idea of wasn't it better then is, and I went and read Roger Ebert's review. Like, I didn't have a chance to go through a whole bunch of reviews, but I didn't need to, because Raj was like started out by saying he started his review by talking about his experience as a teenager in the early 1960s driving around in cars and listening to music.
Nice.
He starts his review by talking about himself. That is nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then he says, this movie is great because it gets the period correct. Like, it is so accurate to the time that it makes the nostalgia play really, really work. And to him, in whenever he wrote this review, that was the point.
Yeah.
And that's the point I took from it too. So I felt like I'm not digging too deep here, because if this is what Roger Ebert, who watched this movie and said, this feels so much like my experience of the world, it's comforting. It makes me feel good. It reminds me of when my life was simpler,
Yeah.
before I knew that all of these horrible things could happen to us, when I was a child.
Yeah.
And he mentioned in his review that Stanley Kaufman, who was another reviewer, in I'd have to go look and see what publication the review came out in, said that there's no way this movie works as well for people who are not directly of this generation.
Wow.
And I think that's right. I think you have to be a boomer to love this movie. I think you can like it. You liked it. I liked it. I think it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. The music is awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can love it and feel it unless you're a boomer.
Which I find it so crazy then that, like, I feel like we get two different kinds of nostalgia between American Graffiti and Dazed and Confused, because
Yeah.
there's something about Dazed and Confused that makes me long for a time that I never lived through,
Yes.
like you referenced earlier. And I watched this and I felt nostalgic for my own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You know, were there times when as I watched this, where I thought, man, it does seem so simple, but I didn't necessarily have nostalgia. I didn't long for that time the way I did for Dazed and Confused, and I think
Yep.
that's interesting.
I do too. And I think, like, how old is Richard Linklater? Is he 60 yet? Is he 10 years older than me? Is that about where he is?
Wait, no, he's in his fifth. No, he is in his 60s, and I only know this because of I read an article about Merrily We Roll Along in production, and they were like, he's going to be 70 when it comes out. And I went, damn.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Um, there is something about, and I just don't know enough about Linklater, other than, like, I know the Texas stuff was pretty autobiographical for him, but I don't know when he graduated high school. Like, I don't know if being a senior in 1976 is his experience. But all right, I think that Linklater wasn't he wasn't telling a story of innocence the way that Lucas is telling a story about innocence.
Yes.
And I think in part it's because it's set in 1976 and there's a cynicism already built into it, right? Like, remember when you're out there celebrating all of this bicentennial brouhaha, what you're really celebrating is a bunch of landowning white men didn't want to pay their taxes. Like, that is a much different tone to set than the only hard choices in front of us are, do we go out east to college, or do we stay around here, get a job, and cruise the scene?
I had another thought,
Okay.
but I don't want to cut you off on.
No. Go ahead.
I feel like American Graffiti wants you to believe that this was the universal experience of that time, whereas Dazed and Confused is very much, no, this was specific to this place.
I think that's probably true. Yeah. And we talked about the specificity of Dazed and Confused being why it felt universal.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry I cut you off.
No, all I was going to say was, like, made you feel like it was specific to a place without being exclusionary.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also okay, we're recording this on a weird day for Gen X, you guys.
Mm.
Um because it's been a weird week. Um today Hulk Hogan died. And earlier this week Malcolm Jamal Warner died. Theo Huxtable. In between those two things, I think is the correct order. Ozzy Osbourne died. So it like big cultural touch points from the '80s taking a hit this week.
Yep.
But like watching this movie, which is all about George Lucas saying, "Wasn't it so much simpler before I knew all of these bad things could happen?" Hits a little different when you are me. Okay? When you are Gen X dude who grew up with um, the the all Americanist family you could have grown up with, where the dad is a gynecologist with an office in his basement who does stand up routines when he needs to parent.
Yeah.
Um, and the Huxtable family being like a part of your life, right? Before we knew what we know about Bill Cosby, the human being. And so that piece of my childhood, which was huge, I loved the Cosby Show. Um, it has been tarnished for a while now. It's very hard to look back on it with nostalgia. But then when Malcolm Jamal Warner died, I saw people posting clips. You know, they posted the Gordon Gartrell shirt clip, which is awesome, and the clip where he got his ear pierced and he was trying to keep Cliff from seeing it by like anytime Dr. Huxtable moved his head, so did Theo that way to keep the ear protected, and it turned out it was infected and it was a whole thing. But like seeing that made me have fond feelings for before I knew what I know now.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to Michael Jackson, biggest pop star of my childhood. Same exact shit.
Yep.
And the same stuff applies to Hulk Hogan, who died today. When I was a kid and Hulk Hogan dropped the big leg brother on the Iron Sheik in Madison Square Garden and became the heavyweight champion, this was when we were all living kayfabe, you guys, when we all believed this shit was real, right? When we believed at least a little bit that Dr. Huxtable was that kind of family guy. He was that person. When we believed that Hulk Hogan was all about saying your prayers, training, and eating your vitamins, right? When we thought he lifted that 7'4", 500-pound giant and slammed him in the middle of the Silver Dome in front of 93,000 screaming Hulkamaniacs, we believed it. I am a real American with the flag, and when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, gotta be a man. You can't let it slide. Like Hulkamania was running wild, y'all, and we're not even playing. Okay, Rocky 3 was like, yay America! Like this was my simpler time, right?
Yeah.
Before I knew that Hulk Hogan fucked Bubba the Love Sponge's wife and said the N-word a bunch of times, and then never went around and apologized for it, and then went full MAGA at the convention. And the last time we saw him on TV, he was hawking a beer for WWE. It was gross. It, like the Hulk Hogan in my heart, 1983 rockin' wrestling cartoon ass Hulk Hogan was never real.
Yeah.
Right? That simpler time was never true. It just felt like it because I was 7. Right?
Yep.
And when I look at American Graffiti, I say, yeah, George Lucas. It probably was a simpler time before Kennedy was assassinated. For you, it wasn't a simpler time. And this notion of let's go back to before I knew that things could be bad sucks. I
Yeah.
fucking hate it because it's delusional. And chasing that high is dangerous. And it's kind of why we're here right now. And Hulk Hogan is dead. I don't know. It's been a weird week, y'all.
You think it's been a weird week because you started it by watching talk radio?
That didn't fucking help. I'll tell you that.
I know. I'm sorry that you had to go through that alone, but I'm also thankful for you being considerate. Like, I don't know. This is loaded with triggers for you. I don't know that you're going to want to watch it. Oh, wait. I hear you. I'm not.
There's a lot of Nazis in this movie. I mean, not in American Graffiti, you guys, not some Nazis.
Well, there might be, but they're hidden.
They're keeping it on the low. Yeah, they're. I don't know. It's been an interesting pop culture week, and this nostalgia thing was weird for me watching this movie.
Yeah, I think I hadn't thought about the dangerousness of nostalgia, really. I mean, I know for me personally, I get caught up, especially when I'm back home, I get caught up chasing a feeling, except I know I'm chasing a feeling, and I also know and understand, like, it won't be this way again. And also, like, what you are, this is messed up, but I'll catch myself longing for quote unquote simpler times, except
Sure.
I know they weren't simpler times. They're just times that I've gotten through, and it seems simple because I haven't gotten through what I'm getting through right now.
Sure. Yeah, you know the ending of that story. You're in the middle of this one.
And it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I've been analyzing my brain a lot this summer, you guys. Because it doesn't make sense to me how the brain can know one thing and still be like, yeah, but this.
Mm-hmm.
Forget rationale. We could go back to this. And it's like, no, we can't.
Right. Yeah.
Like, one, we can't. And then two, who's to say that even if you could with the knowledge you have now, it's not going to be the same.
Right.
Which is what some smart time travel movies try to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hadn't thought about how nostalgia got turned into a weapon.
Yeah, I mean when I told you about the member berries on South Park, that's what they were talking about. Like they were like, this was 2016, and they were like, this nostalgia is bad, you guys. Like they didn't like Force Awakens. They were like, it's just a retread. They're playing on your desire for the movie that you already love by giving you the movie that you already love beat for beat. The trailers even cut the same. Like those trailers are identical, by the way. Like I saw them side by side. Like there's a New Hope trailer that's the same as the trailer for Force Awakens, shot for shot. It's crazy because it worked. And they were also comparing that to Trump's 2016 campaign and how it was based on this. Remember? Oh yeah, remember American Graffiti? Ooh yeah, I remember. Yeah, remember Wolfman Jack? Oh, I remember. They were just 9 years ahead of me on it.
Yeah,
because they're fucking geniuses, those guys.
well, they're getting paid to create 24/7, not 24/7, but anytime they want.
You could pay me so much money, and I couldn't jump through the mental hoops that those guys jump through to come up with what they come up with. I'm endlessly impressed by what they do and how quickly they do it.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty great. Those guys are geniuses. But let's go back to talking about the movie and the parts you liked.
Okay.
Tell me something about the movie that's not the stuff I was just talking about.
All right.
There's more to it than all this nostalgia shit. Although it's all there. It's kind of what it's about.
I'm going to talk about relationships quite a bit. I'll try not to
Okay.
make that the only thing, but we get friendships. We get new friendships, old friendships. We see some interactions between the young and the old that is unsettling, but it was of the time.
Mhm.
Like, here, I'm going to preface this now, even though I think everyone with a brain should understand this. When you say it's of the time, that doesn't mean it's okay. Like,
Right.
can we all just agree it's of the time? I'm not
Right.
giving it carte blanche, but if you want to tell a true story about an era, you do need to show its dark underbelly.
Yeah.
And is it a
Or
bunch
just
of
show it accurately.
well,
You don't have to focus on the bad part, but you have to show it accurately.
well, and of course, funnily enough, the stuff that he doesn't really want to show you is in the dark. the
Right.
teacher the teacher hitting
Uh-huh.
on a student who he's clearly had a relationship with in shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see where hands are, anything. She's probably telling him she's pregnant.
I mean, that's not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the you know this all the teenage girls hitting on him,
Mm-hmm.
and then him making a few remarks back. Like, it's all weird, but that
Mm-hmm.
people didn't know that was as big of a problem, where they weren't as vocal about it. Like, they knew it was a problem. At least he knew, because he goes, principal will have my rear. But
It's also possible that teacher was like 2 years older than those girls. You know what I
which
mean?
is complicated when you do have young teachers coming in right as kids are graduating, because there
They
is
could
that.
have they could have gone he could have been a senior while she was a sophomore.
Yeah,
Like 2 years earlier, this relationship's totally fine. But in
it's
this
just
context, it's a oogie.
it's well, and it's funny how, if you showed this to, like, did Liam watch this at all?
Yeah, he watched it with us.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like Liam or anyone else Liam's age would have seen those girls hitting on that teacher going, ew, why are they doing that? Like,
Right. He didn't react to it, but he was giving it a second screen experience. There's a lot of this kind of thing
sure.
going on. And he didn't love it. He was like, "Is this movie over yet?" He's
You
like, "I don't like
do
movies where people just drive around."
you do feel the length of this movie more than Dazed and
Mhm.
Confused, but I think it fits when you have a story covering a nighttime
Yeah.
portion of the day.
Yeah.
I liked how everyone was on their own little odyssey.
Yeah.
Kurt's trying to find the hot woman in the car.
Hmm.
Lori and Opie Taylor are trying to figure their shit out. Milner's avoiding Harrison Ford, but also, like, I don't know, realizing his life with this child.
Right.
Vic is having the night of his life, getting the girl of his dreams in the car of his dreams. Like, it's really cool how he's just he's getting the night of his life, and then
Yeah.
it all comes crashing down.
Yeah.
But it
But
still
then
ends up
she's like,
okay.
yeah, because she's like, "That
I
was
had
great.
I
That was
had
a
a good
fun
time.
night."
I
And
got
she's
to
not
see
wrong.
No, she's
It's a
like, I
fun
saw a
night.
fight. Yeah, I saw a fight. She was so funny.
Yeah.
I like how the fashion isn't overtly, this is the 50s. Like,
Right.
my mom used to get kind of, not annoyed, but just weirded out by how many poodle skirts would show up in things. She
Yeah.
was like, none of us wore that.
Right. It's
Uh,
either poodle skirts or you're just like a hippie.
yeah, this is why magazines and advertisements shouldn't be the only thing showing what was the fashion of the time, because that's the fashion in a heightened state.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um. Can we talk about our favorite relationship in the movie a little bit?
yes.
Okay. So it's John and what's her name, Julie's sister.
Oh my God, is this us in the 50s?
No.
Okay.
They're closer in age.
Okay, You're right.
I mean, because she's
No, you're
12 and
right.
he's
Yeah.
24. It's like they're
Damn
like
it.
10, 12 years apart. Yeah. Um, Here's what I liked about it. One, I love her. Like
Yes.
she is hysterical in this movie. She's such a little smartass, and she totally checks him all the time, and is like a step ahead of him most of the movie. Like just she's already once he gets there, she's been there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, but what I like about it so much is, you talked about they're all on their journeys. His journey in this movie is the most interesting one to me because he desperately wants to give up the mantle of the guy he is, this fastest guy in town. He wants Harrison Ford to catch him and take it because he knows he's too old to be doing this shit anymore.
Yeah.
And so you give the guy who's full Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon 2, just I'm too old for this shit. And you give him the youngest person there. And you show him the stark difference, and you show us the stark difference between how old he is and how young she is, but also that she's smarter than he is.
Yeah.
And it flips their dynamic like all the time. And it's so alive in how quickly it bounces back and forth between those two things, and it still shows him at the end like he had me beat and before he lost control of his car, and they're like, isn't he the best? And he's like, fuck, I cannot get past this shit. um but she was there and he got so much out of that. I don't know how much she got out of it other than having like a really fun night with like an older guy and this story she can tell.
Yes.
Um, maybe that's it. She gets like this is one of those like foundational memories that every Spider-Man has.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so,
Part of her origin story.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. What did you like about it? That's what struck me about it.
Yeah, I really loved how smart she was and keeping him in check, and like I just thought she was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I loved how gentle she made him. Like she
Yeah.
really wore down his tough guy exterior,
Mm-hmm.
and he was so easily protective of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you immediately got the vibe from him that he wasn't going to do anything untoward. He was going to be very protective and careful about his space. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was very clear, like, you stay on your side and I'll stay on mine. Um,
Except for when he put her head down in his lap to hide her, and she was like,
yeah,
"Is this called copping a feel?"
that part was cut super weird, and I don't think
Mm,
she was actually on his lap. I think they understood the weirdness of it and either cut her head on someone else's lap or no legs whatsoever. It was so quick.
yeah.
Um, or I'm completely wrong. But either way, there were some cuts around intimacy in this that showed me George Lucas is not comfortable with
Mm,
stuff
okay.
and very much wants to lean away from, like, I don't really trust that George Lucas sees anything oogie in what he's done or said or thought. Um, no bras in space.
Yeah. I
But
mean, okay.
but I also don't think he is, when we talk, on the levels of, Oogie
I think George Lucas
to
is
Bill
pretty
Cosby.
harmless.
He's low.
He's
What?
very. I don't. I think No Bras in Space is kind of all of it. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yes,
the worst thing you've ever heard about George Lucas is this stupid No Bras in Space rule that he
that
gave
is
Carrie
the
Fisher.
that is the I haven't learned that's I
Right.
just let the patriarchy meld my brain and thinking that certain things are okay to say, and oh, this is normal. This isn't me being sexist or misogynistic or whatever. This is perfectly logical to say to someone, say to a young girl. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so that same thing here of like And I think he was wise to edit it that way because it would have been distracting. And I think it's if you're not going to be able to communicate properly, or if you're not going to be able to choreograph it as
Hmm.
they most likely would not have done,
Hmm.
uh, you at least know that there is a certain story you don't want to be telling. And the
Hmm.
story in this case is we don't want people seeing those two in the same shot being intimate.
Right.
Even when, except for when he, gives her a kiss on it was like neck
Yeah. Kind
behind
of
the
like on
ear.
the jaw. Yeah.
It was a very, and I kind of like that now thinking about it. It's a very, because it's like, again, you're a little sister to me, but I know what this night is going to mean for you.
Uh-huh.
Here's something else to add to the story.
Yeah, that's
Um,
100% what that is. Yeah.
and, but you're not thinking too much about it. You just want to, like, okay, this is going to be weird. Mwah. Okay, get out.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Because to
Like,
give any more thought to placement, and I mean in the moment, to give any more thought to it is going to be like, how long have you been thinking of this?
right. Yeah, it's weird. You made it weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. Um yeah, I think that the fine line you have to walk in that relationship, and they walk it really, really well, is you never want it to seem like it's that they're on a romantic trajectory at all. You want to make it clear that he does not, nor could he see her that way.
Yeah.
But you also want to make it clear that she thinks he's kind of dreamy. And so, like, she would love it if they would go park. Like, she thinks she would love it. That's what
Well,
she wants that to happen. Even though she doesn't. Like, if it happened, she'd be so freaked out. But like in her like little 12-year-old head, like she's like, "Oh, this older boy,
well,
thinks I'm pretty."
because the moment he threatens that, because he calls her bluff on it, she's like,
Right.
okay, this is my address. Please take me there.
Right. Of course.
Like,
Yep.
he played it very well.
Yeah. Yeah. So it because if it seems like he's thinking about it for even a second, the whole thing's gross.
And also, like, I think she thinks he's dreamy in the way I totally thought, oh, this guy's giving me attention right now. I could like
Sure.
him.
Right. Of course.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think,
Are we? By the way, are we having adventures in intimacy right now? I feel like we are.
why not? I feel like to discuss our favorite relationship leads into it very well.
I think so too. So continue with the intimacy talk. Let's talk
All
about
right.
how Shirley wasn't in that front seat, except for she was.
Well, that's another scene where I think they cut it weirdly. Or again, okay, I'll go through my first idea. I don't think this is what happened, and I'm mad I didn't have time to watch it again. But it looks like they might have cut away, and she's just not there, and you just see him because they didn't want him on top of her.
I thought maybe that was true, except there is no cut when he starts to come up and she's
Okay.
there. Like this
Okay.
happens in one motion and she is underneath him.
Well, then you
Um,
know what it is. They don't. They don't want to see both of them in the shot.
hmm,
They just want to see him because I think they're. I think George Lucas is only going to push boundaries so far.
mm-hmm.
And even though he wants to show things, well, it's showing things in a not a simpler way, but like, oh look, these people getting together. I'm gonna show him on top of her now, instead of them in the same shot. Because if you had shown both of them, you would have had to see her face of mixed feelings, of
Yeah,
ambivalence, of
yeah.
I'm going to do this because it's the last night and I don't want to lose you, but this is also not something I want. Like, you would have had to see that complicated story, and George Lucas doesn't want that complicated story.
100%. I do think it's weird that you couldn't see her arm or something.
It's
Like
very weird.
she's totally hidden by him. And maybe it's just because he's very tall and she's very short. Like it could be as simple as that. but
I mean,
you don't even get
okay.
an elbow. There's
So
nothing.
I have two thoughts because we're. Do you remember how her arms were when he gets back up? Are they like this?
I think kinda, but like they could have not had it like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's just
So I'm thinking one, someone being pressed on top of your boobs hurts.
sure.
um, Especially like because in a movie setting they're going to be there for a while, even though nowadays it would be like cut, please part, let breathe. Um,
Right.
but so she could have been doing that to like protect them so that she's not in utter pain.
Sure.
Um, and I'm projecting like it might hurt some, it might not hurt others.
Right.
Uh, Also, again, I this is kind of a stance of like
Protect.
okay,
Right.
passive. Like you can have a non-consensual, uh, intimate moment without it being an attack or violent or
Hmm.
like defensive. But there are going to be those subtle things of like, well, I don't really want this.
Right.
For yeah, I'll leave it
Yeah,
at
I
that.
get
So
it. No,
it
I
could have
get
been
that.
it could have been a protective stance a little bit. It could have also just been like we don't want to see you in the shot for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is very weird. I agree. Maybe they also thought Ronnie was still looking too nice on her when we could see her limbs. I don't know.
I don't know.
But their relationship, I'm going to say it's kind of the main one,
Hmm.
is interesting and a little sad. Let me go over some of the moments. I really loved when they're dancing together and they're arguing and
Uh
like
huh.
they're doing the thing and making it look like they're dancing together, but they're still arguing. And then all of a sudden, as the music slows, they slow and they get closer, and it's that moment, when you're with someone, you're like, oh god, you annoy the fuck out of me, but oh, this is nice too.
Right.
and and you're able to see that they love each other in that
Hmm.
moment. But then you see that backseat moment and the fact that they have been going back and forth on whether or not to stay together
Hmm.
or what being open
Right.
means.
Yeah.
uh there's some pretty heavy shit. I mean, man, did I write backseat slow? No, that's a different one. Wait. Oh, that was a different card. There was so much backseat canoodling, guys.
Uh huh.
I have two different things. Um, yeah, and I don't have there specifically, so I don't remember much of the motions. But it gets into a weird coercive moment, but he stops and
Hmm.
and calls it out, and he's pissed, and they stomp away and they're mad, and it takes her almost dying for them to be like, no, don't leave me, we'll stay together, it's fine. And I'm like, that's not a great way to stay together either, but
I'll be an insurance salesman. It's okay.
you both are going to figure it out someday, yelling and throwing things.
Yep.
Or maybe not. I don't
Might be
know.
great.
I did love the line, why leave home to go find another home, why leave friends to go meet new friends, like that one kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that.
but I'm not
But
going to go into that. Or
Richard
well,
Dreyfuss left home and he, became a writer and, whatever he did in that last card.
yeah.
66% of the people who stayed there were dead in 5 years.
Yeah.
So, the movie has an opinion on staying versus going.
Yeah. Uh, in terms of some other era specific things, stay with me while I make sense of my notes.
Do it.
Okay. Pantsing.
Yeah. Huh?
Uh, I don't know if that's era specific, but like, just this, it showed it. No one likes to be pantsed, of course, but like it shows there was like a camaraderie nature about it. Like, oh man, why'd you have to go do that? Like,
Right.
there, I don't know how to describe, and this will be good for me as an IC in the future, but like, I don't know how to describe hostile pantsing versus friendly pantsing. But to quote that one judge, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Apparently, there was a pantsing incident between Shannon and Jenny that it became a problem.
I
Like,
believe it.
led to an actual fight. Somewhere in the season that we're watching right now, it happened. So when things
Damn.
were when things were deteriorating, there was a pantsing incident that didn't sit well.
Yikes.
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Yep. Pantsing is alive
Uh,
and well, you guys. It still happens.
but you know what has diminished over time?
Hmm.
Mooning.
Yeah.
Mooning.
Booty.
I know. Well, it was funny because maybe 5 minutes before that, Walter goes, how long until we see boobs in this movie? And I went, probably not. It's the 50s.
Right.
And he went, really? And I was like, yeah, I don't think it's that kind of movie. And then ass.
Right. Yep. There was ass. Yeah. There was
And I
meaty
was
ass
like,
cheek.
that's the 50s. People
Yep.
loved mooning. I'm basing this off 2 movies now, but when I have 2 examples, that means everything.
You got a pattern at least.
Yeah. They
So,
like
no, yeah. Mooning
they,
is big.
boomers like the ass.
It is. Boomers are butt guys.
um oh, the people being called out for dancing close. It's like that's also very era specific. And
Sure.
I mean, we see it again in Dazed and Confused, so
Right.
Yeah. It stays
I was
there.
getting there.
I'm glad my school dances, we didn't have that. Those teachers did not want to come near us
Nope, that's gross.
because
Stay
we
away.
were dirty dancing at that point.
Oh, were you doing the lambada, the forbidden dance? It is
No.
forbidden. Forbidden. Yeah, baby.
It's the Wolfman.
It's a Wolfman Jack.
Let's see. Any other era specific stuff? No. We talked about the teacher, and it's weird, but I'm going to say it's weird on both sides because I know these are young girls, but all of them together equal a very old age, and all of them together equal, someone old enough to know better. And I'm just kidding. He could have been like the hot teacher, the hot English teacher in my school who definitely ignored the female attention.
Yeah, the Antichrist tutor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Oh man, now I'm thinking about this teacher. Anyway,
that's better than thinking about Chris Suter or Gil.
absolutely. I'm angry enough, people. I don't need to be angrier.
No, we can leave them where they are.
Again, a lot of backseat canoodling, which, after watching Always Be My Maybe and seeing the most complicated car sex I've ever seen, but also really funny. This was different. This was clearly from an era of people who were used to being stuck to cars to have sex.
Very car culture specific. Yeah.
Very car culture. Because where else were they gonna go? So you have Kurt who gets pulled into the back seat by an ex. I don't know.
Oh, his ex. Yeah, that's right.
I think it was his ex, but they have this very sweet moment of you don't get to hear a lot about their past, but the way they immediately go back into what they once had was so sweet. And
What their relationship was like.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but you're totally right. The way you get them for like 30 seconds before you get who they are as a couple.
And it makes me want to be like, wait, why? Why didn't you all work out? Oh.
Right. But you also can see that. Like you can see why it worked and why it didn't in the 30 seconds that they get together, and you're like that's really well acted. Good for those guys. I didn't even realize how good it was until just now when you said that. But it's pretty great.
And that is the only credit to that actress's name. So, honey, Listen, we found that out last night, and I went, I'm sure it was painful to have that one credit on your IMDb. And at the same time, what an amazing credit.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I hope you felt good, honey.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that moment is so like fly by night. I don't even know if that's the right description, but it's so quick. They're in the back, they're looking into each other's eyes, and it's like no time has passed, and it's a slow and it's a sweet kiss. And then unfortunately it's ruined because, he's like, hey, this girl, the driver, not his ex-girlfriend, thinks you're hot, and then the friend kicks him out, and it's like,
I
and
thought
then
that
they're
was funny
done.
too, though. Yeah.
Then they're broken up again. Like it's very it felt very right for teens.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And that was
Um,
exactly why they broke up, because he wouldn't stop doing stuff like that.
yep.
You know?
The one other backseat or car canoodling scene I want to talk about is when Debbie and is it Vic?
Which one is Vic?
He's the one driving
Oh,
Opie's car.
Opie's car. I can't remember what his name is, but
Okay.
maybe. I'll look. See if I can find it.
It looks like Audrey and Seymour, honestly.
Terry.
Ugh.
It does look like Audrey and Seymour. Audrey 1. It's important.
Audrey 3 and Seymour 2. They're in the car and they're canoodling at some lovers lane type place, and he goes for it, and she goes, wait, and I like that she said wait, and then like proceeds to either adjust herself somehow or do something. She moves her drink because she's like, no, of course I want, like, no, wait, let me get in position.
Right. Now proceed.
Now proceed. And then eventually they move from the car out to
a blanket.
The grass.
That's right.
Maybe that's where the cum waterfalls were. We just didn't see them.
We just didn't see them in this one, but they're there. There's always cum waterfalls in our hearts. Aren't there? It's part of the human condition. It's like nostalgia. I don't fucking know.
Oh my god.
It's been a weird week, you guys.
I have to say, I laughed so hard over something that happened at work earlier, and it felt so good. And then I knew I was going to get to laugh more tonight.
That's a win.
Guys, I need more laughter. We all need more laughter.
We do. Any more intimacy?
I'm pretty sure I talked it all to death.
Okay. So let's go see if we can figure out where Wolfman Jack is projecting from, because I'm pretty sure it's Needle Drop Forest. You can't just talk about one song in this movie. It's the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
But more than that, it's the Wolfman, baby.
Yeah.
Like, having Wolfman Jack in this movie as this connective tissue between everyone in the whole movie at all times. It's him directing the mood of what's happening in the whole town by every song he plays.
I meant to mention that earlier. That was something else I really loved. That universal thing that everyone in the movie was doing was listening to this radio station.
Yep.
I loved that because there's no way you get that anymore.
No, it's not. We don't have that thing anymore that is as unifying as your disc jockey used to be.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. If you were doing a high school show now, you wouldn't do a David Silver is the voice of Wes Beverly character.
No.
You'd give him something else. You can give him a podcast, or he can be an influencer or some shit. But you wouldn't have that same person who can comment on the comings and goings of and to be what Wolfman Jack is in this movie, which is like the framework on which their lives are built.
Yeah.
It's not just that the story is centered around this communal experience of driving around and listening to Wolfman Jack. It's that their lives are this. Like this is what they
Yeah.
do. You know, the only music you hear that's not played by Wolfman Jack is done by a live band at a dance.
Which looked like Johnny Casino and the Gamblers.
It was a very similar, very similar. Playing some Danny and the Juniors at the Hop. Um, I did want to ask you this because I feel like our answers are very different. How familiar are you with the music in this movie? Like, was it like every song you were like, oh, I know this song and can sing along? Was it like half of them? Was it like I think I know some of these songs? Like I know you don't know all the words to Only You. Um,
Yeah.
we talked about that in Axe Murderer. Um, but but I know there's some of these you would probably know. But tell me like where it fits for you.
I think I knew. I would say I knew half the songs, but then within that half, I knew from clips used elsewhere.
Okay, interesting. All right.
Um, yeah.
I know every single one of these songs and can sing along.
Wow.
Yeah, these are the songs I grew up listening to because these are the songs that my parents loved. Like my dad loved 50s and early 60s pop music. He was a huge doo-wop guy.
Oh, wow.
Loved that stuff. So I grew up on all of this music. So when I'm watching it, it feels very right to me.
Okay.
Like from this era specifically, but just all these, I know all of these songs. I put on the playlist as I was sort of walking around, like getting my brain around what we were going to talk about. And it's just fun. It was so much a part of my upbringing, and I'm not at all surprised that it wasn't the same for you. Just because it's been 2 years of us talking like this.
Yeah. And I didn't have as much time, unfortunately, to listen to all of the soundtrack like I wanted to, because I ended up skipping around. And
Mm-hmm.
what I realized is I'm not a big doo-wop person.
I love doo-wop. Yeah,
I I bet if I listened through the whole thing, I would find something more likable about it than I do now. But like there were just other groups that I was more interested, or other songs I was more interested
sure.
in hearing. Like I love that rendition of "I Only Have Eyes for You" by
Yeah,
the Flamingos.
I love
Oh
that.
my god.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so good. It makes me feel things.
Yeah. Oh, how could it not? That song's yeah.
Oh, I had to look up what the name of this song was, because it's one of those that's purely instrumental, but it was playing when they were going out to Paradise Road, and it's called Green Onions.
Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an IU connection there. Yeah. As I recall, Booker T and the MGs were in Nashville, basically. Like that's sort of where they were. But Booker T would drive up to Bloomington on the weekends to play. I think this was a story I was told in my history of rock and roll class. Um,
Nice.
yeah, that I took when I was at IU. But what's cool about it is Liam's new rock band is 60s pop, and we watched this movie last night after he came home from his first rehearsal, and they give him what the songs are, and he was reading off the songs, and one of the songs was Green Onions, and then it comes on in the movie, and he was like, "Hey, wait up."
And he starts drumming.
No, he doesn't know it yet. He just heard it probably for the first time. But yeah, Green Onions is a great song.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I I didn't want to write down every song that stuck out to me, because I don't know. I was arrogant and thought I would know more of the songs than I did.
Hmm.
Again, there was a sense of familiarity that I had with the music, but certainly not to your level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the music in Dazed and Confused, I knew a lot better than this.
That doesn't surprise me. Um, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of that is how much younger your dad is than my mom. It's not a
Well, and
ton, but it's some.
I was just gonna ask, like, how far apart in age are our parents?
When was your dad born?
53.
Oh, it's only 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only 2 years. Yeah, I guess he's next.
But it's funny because I definitely, I mean, the old music I can recall listening to with him was Beatles.
Uh huh.
Um, Beatles mostly. I wish I could tell you better the other stuff, but it was never doo-wop. You know,
Yeah, well, because that was before he was. I mean, he was like he was.
it was.
He. I mean, yeah, he was. Doo wop was to him what 90210 is to you.
Yes.
Like you were a baby. Like, why would that have made an imprint?
Yeah. Like I think
Yeah.
it's interesting he liked more of the hippie stuff and like he used to joke that he was a hippie. I don't think he was. I
No,
think
I
he
don't.
just looked like one.
He
But
was
I
the
don't.
right age. He was the right age.
Yeah.
You know. Um, yeah,
He
but
thought
yeah.
all you needed was long hair.
Well, there you go. And a girlfriend who irons her hair seems to be the move. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Just the music in this movie it carries a lot of weight. I don't think it's. I like the Dazed and Confused soundtrack better, but this is Kendall Roy all bangers. Like there's no missteps on this soundtrack. Everything is right there.
Yeah.
All right. What else time? What else you got?
What the fuck was George Lucas doing with all the shadow shit?
What do you mean?
Just there were people in complete darkness at times.
I don't
And
know. I didn't bump on that at all, but that feels right. Like people driving around in cars, the light sources are going to be at weird angles, coming in through windshields.
sure, but like there's a scene where Audrey 3 and Seymour 2 are walking in the woods together after the car has been stolen. And it just didn't feel like it was planned properly. And it also felt like they went, let's just try something creative. Let's have them in the dark. I mean, it's dark, so why would we have any kind of light source?
Yeah.
And it's because I want to see the actors.
Right.
It's called you frame it in a way so we do see them.
Yeah.
Even in shadow, but like the little bit of light that we saw was off to the side of them, and I just
Interesting.
it was a choice. It
Yep.
wasn't my favorite. Um, it's one thing to put people in shadow to send a message, like with the teacher and the student,
Right.
but still let me see some of it. He only gave us cracks of light.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel planned
Hmm.
where it was.
Interesting.
It,
I didn't
it was-
notice that.
I did.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny coming from me because the Battle of Winterfell did not bother me.
Oh,
This
that pissed me all
bothered
the
me.
way off. Yeah, I couldn't handle that shit.
It added to the fear factor for me.
It added to the what the fuck is happening factor.
Yeah, it just this weirded me out. I thought, what a shame. These actors are putting in some good work, and I'm not getting to see it.
Yeah. Okay. You have not seen The Jerk.
No.
Okay. The Jerk steals something from this movie, and I didn't realize they stole it from this movie. The scene where he hooks the cop car's back wheels onto the post and they drive off and it pulls the in The Jerk, Steve Martin, Navinar Johnson, is pumping gas. He's a gas station attendant, and these guys pull up, and it's a Sunday, so no cash coming in or going out. Got to have a credit card, and so he's left there alone, his first time ever. And they're like, "Oh, so the cash is locked up?" He's like, "No, I got a lot of cash." but you flash this kind of wad in front of some people and they'll kill you for it. And then he like asks for a credit card, and they go through like all these purses in the back of their car looking for, and they're like, they give him Mrs. Nussbaum's credit card, and he walks away and he looks at the newspaper and he's like, stolen. Like, so he goes to call the police and tell them that he's like, I got him right here. The guys who stole Mrs. Nussbaum's credit card, they're right here. Hold on, I'll be right back. They're like, he's like, oh no, now they want tires. They're taking the gas and tires. And like he's running back and trying to keep them in the parking lot so the cops can come. And then he goes and he hooks their car to like the hose attached to a church, like a building next door. And he comes back and he's all struts. He's like, don't worry about it, I got them. They're gonna be for a while, don't you worry about it. And then the guy's like, we're not gonna wait. And so he hits the gas and they pull out, and their car has so much horsepower that it detaches the church from the rest of the building. They're driving down the street towing a church.
Oh my god.
And he's like, they might not be here exactly when you get back, but it's a blue Chevy 2-door heading south on El Dorado Street. It's pulling a small church. So any blue Chevy 2-door pulling a small church, I think that'd probably be the one. But I didn't know that he took that gag from American Graffiti and attached a church to it, which makes me happy. Mrs. Nussbaum's credit card. Is this anyone's defining role?
Wolfman Jack.
I mean, he was playing himself, so that's a little meta.
Probably Debbie's defining role. Man, it's a shame about that kid Harrison Ford.
I know.
He had such promise.
I know. Harrison Ford and Richard Dreyfuss and Ron Howard. What did that Ronnie Howard kid ever do?
Lose his hair.
Yeah, but make a whole lot of really good movies. End of the
Yeah. Oh God.
Remember when we watched the Da Vinci? Hey, Cheesemeisters, we watched the Da Vinci Code. You should go listen to us talk about it. It was a good one. The movie wasn't good. We were good.
No, we were good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so many people went on to be so much bigger. I mean, Mackenzie Phillips, was in One Day at a Time, and fucking Laverne and Shirley. This is Shirley. Like, come the fuck on.
Schlemazo.
Hasselpfeffer Incorporated. Come on. Hassenpfeffer is what I've tried to say. I know.
I never knew that part.
On your mark, get set, and go now. And we just know now. Gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way.
Okay, side note.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, in middle school, there was a trend briefly to have an initial on your shirt.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I would get the ones with L.
The big script, Laverne, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, my middle school teachers were like, oh my God, you're like Laverne from Laverne and Shirley. And I went, what's that? And so, of course, thank you, Nick at Night and TV Land.
Yep.
I haven't seen a lot, but, I got to catch a few episodes, and I love Penny Marshall.
Yeah, Laverne and Shirley was great. With Linny and Squiggy and Carmine, the big Raguso. I mean, come on. Yeah, Laverne and Shirley was good. It was a funny show. Yep, spinoff from Happy Days, which was also a really funny show. And culturally just fucking Happy Days, you guys. Come on.
I know all these theme songs.
Of course you do. Yeah, they're great. I mean, this
Sunday, Monday, Happy Days.
They used to do theme songs, you guys, but they don't do it anymore.
Oh, I miss theme songs.
Everybody misses theme songs. Theme songs were great.
This is like, I never skip through Stranger Things theme song. That shit is so good.
Yeah. Skipping the Lost theme is also silly, but it's basically just one note.
I was thinking it.
Yeah. So, I don't understand.
Mad Men, great theme.
Hmm. I mean, obviously, Cheers is like the best one ever, but there's a lot of great ones. Did you know that
Friends.
in 1972, a crack commando unit was sentenced by a military court for a crime they didn't commit? They promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade into the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. Yeah, if you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A team. That's
It
what TV
only
shows used to be like, you
it
guys.
only took me a couple seconds to realize, oh, he's doing the theme.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Pow, pow, pow. Theme songs were fucking awesome.
Yes.
Simpler times, yo. Um, any other? What else's?
Let me see. Nope.
All right. What is this? The EST up for you?
This might be quite literally the darkest movie about the 50s.
Okay. I could see that. Um,
I like it because there's levels to that.
that's true. That's very true. Um, I think for me, this is possibly the most culturally significant movie ever. Pop culturally,
Really?
pop culturally, I think maybe because
See,
because it paints such a strong image in our mind of three different decades and had such a profound impact on, like, again, Harrison Ford, Ron Howard, Richard Dreyfuss, like
yeah.
just the acting of that, and then Happy Days, and all the TV that comes from the people in this, and that 50s nostalgia throwback that happens because of this. Like,
And the bad stuff.
yeah, this movie carries this weird weight at the center of 30 years of popular culture.
I
So
I
yeah,
guess I guess I was hesitant about it because I don't think people realize that. I think
probably.
they I
I
think
think
they
that's
sense
true.
these things inherently, but they don't know what it comes from.
Well, and I think it's like, I would think that somebody my age, there's a 50% chance they've seen this movie. Maybe not even. Maybe like a 40% chance they've seen this movie.
Mm.
But there's a 70% chance they're aware of it in some fashion. You know, they kind of they have a sense of what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but it just, I think it's, again, you have to be a boomer to love it, but I think, look at what we're living in. I think there's a cultural significance to this movie that's kind of weird.
This fits in my brain. We can cut it if you don't agree, but now I'm starting to see that destructive nostalgia in ads because I there's an ad going around right now of a woman and her two sons skateboarding together, and they're like, live like it's 1999. But of course, it's still advertising for shopping online and everything. And I'm like, don't lie to me and
Yeah,
make me, one, feel that I'm in a safer time, but then
right.
two, don't pretend that 1999 was some simple time.
It was, I mean, it was pre 9/11, so there you go.
I know, but you and I both know it wasn't a simpler time.
No, it wasn't. It was a differenter time. But
A differenter. But yeah, I
yeah,
guess well I know this. 9/11 is my challenger, is my
Kennedy
JFK.
assassinated. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Um, all right. Once again, Cheese Meisters, we have proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even American Graffiti.
That's right. Even American Graffiti. Um, all right. So join us here next week on Wednesday when we watch season 4, episode 17, Thicker Than Water. And next Friday, when did we decide? Because I have a note here about a movie called Moxie.
We didn't decide because we
Okay.
got so we got so thrown helter not helter skelter, but I was a little I just because I was trying so desperately to find a connection for pirate radio and I didn't.
Yeah, that one was tough. I mean, we can keep digging. We might find something. I've seen
Sure.
that movie. It's a pretty fun movie.
Well,
My memory of it is I liked it. So let's say that.
yeah, I'll have to. That'll be my gift to Walter, considering he did not care for American Graffiti.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Tell him you can watch talk radio. Suck it up, Buttercup.
oh my God, yeah, I will, just for funsies.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, you guys can watch that for funsies. So you'll have a great time.
No, uh, no, I'm good. If I was
Yeah,
still living in the delusional time of 1999 and thinking all Nazis were gone, then sure.
sure.
But I know too much now.
Yeah, sadly.
But anyway, did we? So we found a connection for Moxie.
We did. We found one. Yeah.
Well, I'm into it if you are.
I don't even know
Um,
what it is. So sure, let's watch it.
yes.
All right, we're gonna watch this movie called Moxie that I've never heard of. You guys, should be fun. So
Woohoo!
until then, Cheesemeisters. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm out.
Me too.